This is Louisa's, and Louisa's does illustrate a place where we can definitely get off track. But you can see she's got that nice format and then references. Now you're going to have in Christians, she just had Kavanaugh and Kilborn and and then the Felix Condomat. So she only had 3, and that's the minimum. You should have at least 3 because you'll be citing from 2 of our readings, and we are reading the Kavanaugh and the Kilborn both. So you'll be citing from those, and then you've got to have at least 1 ad to look at, so you'll have at least 3. If you have more ads, or if you cite from more of our readings, you'll have more citations. Remember, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it is just look it up and do it. If you're like, this needs to go in there, it's worth taking your time to do that. So there we go, just like that. And alphabetical order. And how do we make them scooch over? Do y'all remember? Control what? T for ta-da, right? I love it, man. Okay, let's take a look at Louisa's. And Louisa is talking about the Burger King commercials. So, fat food fast. I always say it fast food fast, or fast food fat. I don't know, right? So I hope you ate a little something. This one always makes me hungry. Okay, advertising is one of those most significant marketing tools that companies use to sell their products to the average consumer. Most of us know that many advertisements have hidden messages that stimulate our brains and target certain senses and groups of individuals. And we all know that commercials and advertising are a big part of our everyday lives. We are bombarded with advertising daily, whether it's newspapers, magazines, on a drive to work, or when we sit down and relax in front of the television. We may not realize it, but this daily dose of product bombardment through advertising affects the way we live, the clothes we wear, the car we drive, and most of all, the food we eat. The average family in the United States experiences a much busier and hectic lifestyle than that of their parents due to the economy, an increased desire to have more in our life for our family and children, and a push to attend to fitness and wellness. 3 advertisements by Burger King Corporation illustrates how Burger King appeals to those circumstances and desires to appeal to customers. So she points out, she's got basically a 1, 2, 3 thesis. She points out, look, they're doing these 3 things, and then boom, her thesis is right here saying, look, if we look at these, we can see how it's actually a 2-sentence thesis, how they're doing this. So what are they selling? Not just those burgers and fries. That's irrelevant, right? She says, no, what they're selling is this idea of more time in our life for family and children, push to attend to fitness and wellness, economy, busier lifestyle. That's it. There we go. So she's got those ideas in there. Now, if she gives us all 3 descriptions and then does the analysis, they're kind of separated. So she's going to give us the description and do the analysis. Now, she's got 3 of these in here, so her descriptions will be shorter. She's doing more of that. Remember when we looked at description, how you describe, and we'll look at it again, that list with that very first pre-writing. It was, you can avoid describing the common things. To describe a classroom, I mean, there's no problem mentioning them, but we want to focus on the unique things. The fact that our classroom, I always turn the lights off. How many of your teachers turn the lights off when they first walk in? Do you have any teachers where you have windows and the first thing they do is close the blinds? It drives me nuts. I'd teach in one of these rooms over here, and it looks out on this little patio out here, and I'd always open the blinds because I'm like, look out. You don't need to look at me all the time. Fall into that deep thought. And the teacher right after me, first thing, close those blinds. No, I don't want those students looking out there. Really interesting. That's very unique, right? In both ways. So she's going to do a lot more. Her descriptions are shorter. You want to make sure your paper's longer. One way you can make it longer, but you have to be careful. Because if your paper just becomes description, I'm going to be like, great description, where's your analysis? And it's just not going to hang together grade-wise. If you're sure you have the depth of analysis and you need a little bit more, can you add a little more detail into those descriptions? If you're doing something like 2 or 3 ads, you're probably going to end up filling up this paper pretty quickly. It's not really that much once you break it down, conclusion, Introduction, well, there's about a page worth of writing. We're shooting for 3 pages. Description, you have a good solid paragraph. Okay, now we're just at 1.5 for the analysis. So in these, the description is a little shorter, and she does more of that relying on us to bring that common knowledge in it. Okay, enough of that. The combination of 3 advertisements promoting fast food is needed to accurately display the image of the fast food experience. In the first advertisement, we see the typical fast food restaurant displayed with customers visibly waiting for service to satisfy their hunger. Typical fast food restaurant, can you imagine it? I mean, really. It looks like a fast food restaurant. Although this could be any fast food storefront, the subject here is Burger King. The 2009 ad is attractive and pleasing to the eye with its bright colors in the restaurant. The bright colors of red and yellow are used to signify the brand. In addition, in the background above the Burger King sign, we see the words "on platform 13" with an arrow clearly showing we are in an area of transportation where people are on the move and in a hurry to get somewhere. This relates to the idea that our lives have become busier and more involved when it comes to family, food, convenience, and speed. By setting this ad here, Burger King implicitly sends the message that its products are accessible despite our busy lifestyles. So she starts with that one, she gives a little bit, she's going to give us another one. The second advertisement of the 3 is set in a typical Burger King, and here she gives us the year, 1974 restaurant, where we see an average family enjoying a meal. The advertisement gets our attention and targets our sense of family by showing us how happy this family is sharing a meal together in a fast food restaurant. Family is often used in fast food advertisements to entice the consumers to come and share the experience of a family meal of good food fast. For the mother in this family, this ad represents escape from the kitchen at home. Fowles, boom, there's that date, 1998, states in this excerpt from Common Culture that many advertisers like appealing to the need for escape because the sensation of pleasure often accompanies escape, and what nice emotional nimbus could there be for a product? And so there she has the location. And that one, you've already read that, and so you know it's got those little subheadings. Here's the escape section, right? When we see an advertisement for a fast food product like Burger King's hamburger, we find that it appeals to our senses. And this is really key. When you give a quote, make sure you're discussing it. Don't just let it hang out there like those eggs on top of that cake mix and throw it in the oven. Got to mix it up. This is done not only through taste and sight, but also our emotions for leaving a hot kitchen and dishes behind. This is a perfect example of what Fowles means when he says that advertisers like to appeal to our feeling of escape. How many of you have ever said, let's go out to eat just because you didn't want to wash dishes? No? Yeah, okay. There's a few more of you out there. Does that mean the rest of y'all never wash the dishes? In a third advertisement in this combination of ads is the picture of a mouth-watering large hamburger at Burger King. The ad simply shows a Burger King Whopper being put together while the song "You're Still the One" plays in the background. And there she gives us, because this is specific stuff from the ad, Burger King 1997. Now, what should I have done there? Commas. Commas. Remember, APA has the P in the paper, so if we have page number, we're going to put P for page number, PP for more than one, but we're also going to put the commas. MLA, since it's just author location, is just a space in there, nothing. But here, we need more stuff, okay? Fowles, boom, again, 1998, and so she's used Fowles a couple of times here, notes that advertising is geared to satisfy us and that the art of photographing food and drink is so advanced, sometimes these temptations are wonderfully caught in the camera's lens. And boom, right there, there's our section. Although this advertisement is successful in reaching the consumer, it also promotes an unhealthy look at food consumption due to the enormous portion size. In looking again at the advertisement, looking at the advertisement again of the quarter-pound hamburger, consumers see it as a food that consists of both meat and vegetables and that gives the appearance of a healthy food. However, what we actually see can be very deceiving when it comes to this particular hamburger. The fact that we have an obvious display of vegetables in the hamburger, such as lettuce, tomato, and onion, tends to make us feel that we are eating healthier. The problem with the fast food hamburger shown in the advertisement is not the hamburger itself, but that we have meat, 2 patties equal to 1/4 pound of meat, which is well over the recommended amount of meat eaten in one meal according to the famous food pyramid suggested by most health organizations. We also have on the very same hamburger the addition of bacon, usually 3 slices, cheese, and a condiment of mayonnaise, all of which contain large amounts of fats. In addition to the food preparation of all the above mentioned items, consists of additional fats that add even more to the overall calories contained in just one hamburger. The combination of fast food advertising definitely displays our relationship with food, family, and convenience, but also promotes a diet of large portions that are not part of a family of a healthy diet. The larger portions advertised by most fast food restaurants and the option to increase the size of a meal for a small price increase definitely promotes a beyond average caloric intake for one individual on a daily basis. With a continued type of diet on these foods, far too many calories, Americans' daily diet, no wonder why obesity is on the rise. Would you like to guess what Louisa's major was? Nutrition. And here's one of the dangers. And I talked to her before I used this. I said, I want to use this in this way. She's like, no, that's good. That's fine. There was like another page and a half of all about how bad this food is for us. That's where her interest is, right? She wants to grow into nutrition. And that's cool. And this is one of the big dangers. One of them is that you just described the ad. You want to do more than that. But one of the big dangers is you take this off and it becomes another kind of essay. From this point on, and the stuff we cut out other stuff, okay? She goes on and talks about the rise of obesity and how fast food and stuff like this is linked to it. And there's no problem mentioning that. In fact, I really think up till about right here, I think this should just be with the paragraph above, and then we can just get rid of the rest of it so that it stays this analysis of advertisements. The other thing it led her to do, because she used 3 commercials, is really short shift the analysis of the other 2. So she does it, but it's just like one sentence. And it's like, it's a good sentence, cool, but just more, explain a little more. So this is a good thing for her to talk about this, because this is very relevant. I mean, one of the things that happened to me when I lost my 50 pounds and I've kept it off, and when I changed the way I eat, and is I stopped watching the Food Channel. Because I know what I learned was I look at that and I want it. And then I want it and I get hungry. And I'm not really hungry. I was at the grocery store the other day. Thank God I didn't come home with Twinkies and cookies like I used to. Crap. I came home with cheese and nuts. But I still bought more because I was hungry, right? But I wasn't really hungry till I got to the grocery store. I'm looking at the food. I mean, we respond to very sensory stuff, and advertisers know this. And so this is a great thing for her to talk about. You just don't want to get lost in that other idea. You want to have it in there, but you've got to, this is the self-discipline of this. You've got to keep it in control. And then you've got to look at your paper and say, is this kind of balanced? So it's good writing. That I'm not saying at all. It's good writing. It's just not all appropriate for this essay. So she does go on and talk about that, and like I said, she does it well. But then she winds up, and you can see how we can go from, I don't even have to read you the rest of it, where she kind of got off topic, and it makes sense. Fast food advertising, where the food is photographed to entice customers to view the food as convenient, family-friendly, and healthy, continues to contribute to the problem. The appeal of convenience and escape, which the advertisements clearly represent, create appealing views for all members of the family. As customers, we're encouraged to think the food is healthy by its appearance when we can see the daily food groups of grain, meat, dairy, and vegetables. It may be fast food, but that does not mean it is healthy food or that the portions are in line with what doctors recommend for the daily nutritional requirements of a meal. Its contributions to the health problem of the country surely don't make it convenient, and its message of escape does not guarantee quality time with the family. In his article, The Power of Images, Creating Myths of Our Time, Davis, notes that the myths of the image culture are false or superstitious ideas, as well as motivating stories behind our common cultural practices. And Burger King plays into both of these, creating myths about family, health, and escape in the setting of our fast-paced lives. So she brings it together really nicely. And she's got really clear ideas. So, I mean, I'm really glad that she was willing to put this out here and say, yeah, here's one way you can kind of get off course with it. And it is. And that's kind of one of the, second to just describing your ad and just restating it in your own words. The second one is it can become a different kind of essay. So you have to keep your eye on the ball with that. Now, why does she have single quotes here, single, and then double on each side of this Davis quote? In the essay itself, Davis essay, they were already in quotes, right? So when we have quotes in quotes, we turn the quotes that are already there into singles, use that apostrophe, and then on the outside we put those double quotes. So, okay. And then she's got Davis, and Davis doesn't have any sections. Or it could be this is also from the introduction, because you never give an introduction a heading. You don't put introduction. As the APA book pretty much says, I paraphrase, but not by much. Duh. It's an introduction. I mean, really, And then she has her Burger King, and so she's got them in order by what's the oldest one to the newest one. So that's how, if you have the same author, that's how you organize there. And then she has Davis, and she has Fowles, and then she quoted from, in where she kind of got off topic, she was quoting from the Helia Health Organization. So just like that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, yeah. Making sure I did that right, because, okay. So that's an example. So yeah, she gets off, but also she has good writing in there. And you can see how she's really looking between the lines and saying, what is this? It's not just, even when she looks at the burger and says, yeah, they're selling burgers, she's not just talking about them selling burgers. She's saying, look, they're selling it in a specific way. And y'all know this. You see the burger on the TV or in the picture, and you see the burger in front of you, and you're like, these are not the same burger, right? I mean, really. She's making a good point there about how it does kind of, that beautiful green lettuce and red tomatoes, and it does have that sense of that.